Hey, greetings everybody. Long time no new videos, so I'm going to take advantage of this beautiful 60 plus sunny day here in February 2015 in Maryland and do a new video about this air compressor. It's time to lay down a new hardwood floor, and I pulled out the old DeWalt here on the left. Had it for a few years, used it very lightly, probably less than a dozen times, and sure enough it has failed. It's leaking from somewhere within the cylinder head. I took it apart, couldn't find anything obvious. And I did a look at the reviews on Amazon for this particular model, and everybody complains about it being a piece of junk, so I really figured it wasn't worth the time to repair it. I wanted to get something new, and I didn't want to end up with another piece of junk that's going to last, 12 uses and have to throw it away. So I've been pretty happy with Makita tools. I did a search on Amazon for Makita air compressor, and sure enough, they have this model you see sitting right here, the Max 700. It's a 2 horsepower, 2.6 gallon. And the nice thing about it is it's an oil-based compressor, so it should be a lot quieter and last a lot longer. And I just came in today, and I haven't really done anything other than open the top of the box, so I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look at this thing and show you what it looks like. Just taking a look inside the box here, you'll see that's actually double boxed. One of the complaints I saw in the Amazon reviews was that quite a few times the unit had arrived damaged because of the way it was packed, so apparently Makita has addressed that. Here's the side of the box that was inside the other box. Just take a quick look at some of the major specifications before we open it up. It is a 2 horsepower unit. It has 2.6 gallon capacity, and it can deliver 3.3 cubic feet per minute at a pressure of 90 psi. And the pump runs at a RPM of 1720. Just to give you a quick look inside the box before we pull it out of there, you can see it's pretty well packed. It's wrapped in plastic, and there's quite a bit of a cardboard blocking to protect it during shipping. Okay, here's what we got out of the box. We have the compressor, of course. It came with some compressor oil, which is nice. That last Northern Tool air compressor I bought, which is actually a relabeled Puma, didn't come with any, so I had to chase some of that down, which was a bit of a pain. An air filter, the oil cap, and of course an instruction manual. Okay, let's take a little bit closer look at this thing. Okay, looking at the left side, of course they have a nice warning label here. Fill this baby up with oil before starting it. This is just a temporary cap. This will go in there eventually. And down below here is an oil sight glass. You can see how much oil's in there. And then the little drain valve to drain the oil when it's time. This was a real nice drain valve, not this cheap little petcocks that come with some of the cheaper ones, and it has rubber feet all the way around, which would be nice probably for noise and vibration dampening, and also not to scratch your wood floors if you're using it in the house. Here's the pressure gauge for how much pressure is in the tank. Of course, they have a quick release, the regulator valve, and then up top there's a meter to see what your regulator pressure is set to. Nice heavy long power cord. It's 14 gauge wire. Here around the back side you can see is the emergency pressure release valve. You can also drain it this way. Then your on off switch. Then here we can see that the pipe going into the tank from the compressor has fins on it to help it cool down, and that will help reduce the amount of condensation and water you get into your tank. Also, you can see here has a nice carry handle built into it, a nice solid rubber handle with finger notches, and I picked it up and it seems to be very well balanced. Also, here is just a little shipping plug, and we'll just pop this guy out of here and put the air filter in. Probably going to get some Teflon tape to put on there just to make sure we have a good seal. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put the filter on, put some oil into it, and we'll go ahead and break it in, which usually involves letting it run with the valve open for probably 20 minutes or so, just to break the pistons in. And then I'll see if I can do a little bit of an example of how loud it is. It's supposed to be pretty quiet. Okay, we're back. Alright, I put the air filter in this guy and put the oil into it, and I did the break-in, and the manual recommends at least 20-minute break-in. What that involves is opening the drain valve and then just letting the compressor run to break in the pistons. I should let it run for about 30 minutes. And now what I want to do is a little sound decibel test to show you how loud it is. And I picked up a little application from my iPod here called Decibel Tenth from the iTunes store. I'm going to use this. It's probably not super scientific, but at least it'll give us an idea. And we're going to do it at 3 different measurements. The first one is right here next to the unit. Then we'll do it at 10 feet away, and then we'll do it at 20 feet away. And then I should also note, of course, as you can see, we're outside right now. And of course, if you're inside, you'll probably have different results because the sound will be bouncing off the walls and ceiling. All right, let's get started here. Okay, let's get started. The meter's running here. I'm just going to show you what the ambient noise is in the environment. I'll stop talking here for a second. So it's about 56, 57 decibels. You can see how the thing's peaking up to 85 decibels just with me talking. This thing's about probably 12 to 18 inches away from my mouth. All right, let's turn the compressor on and see what the thing sounds like. Okay, so the meter's probably 2 feet away from the compressor, and you can see we had a peak of about 90 decibels. Let's go ahead and move this back to the 10 feet mark and see what it sounds like. Okay, we're 10 feet away. You can see we're about 82 decibels at 10 feet. Okay, here we are at 20 feet. You can see it's not that much quieter, about 77, 78 decibels, additional 10 feet away. I can just tell you, I know it's hard to tell on the YouTube, but aesthetically it's really not very loud. And it's not a high trebly sound, it's more of a baritone, bassy sound. I should also note that thing filled up pretty quickly, so I had to go drain it down to 0 between the 10 feet and the 20 foot mark test. Okay, I'll do one last thing for you. I'm going to use my stopwatch here, and we're starting with 0 pressure in the tank just to show you how long it takes to go from 0 to the what the current preset is. We think it's 120 psi. And we'll get started here. So there you have it. It's about 59 seconds, just under a minute to go to, looks like about 130 psi. Okay, so there you have it in a nutshell. That's the Makita MAC 700 air compressor. It's 2 horsepower, 2.6 gallon air tank, can deliver 3.3 cubic feet per minute at a pressure of 90 psi. It is oil based. As we just saw, it's pretty darn quiet. I'm also pretty happy with the build quality so far. It looks very nice. Has a good paint job on it. And I'm hoping it has the typical Makita quality. It's going to stand up for quite a few years of heavy use. As I know, that last piece of junk, I used it maybe less than a dozen times and it just went kaput. So trying to get some quality tools here are going to last. Obviously I haven't used this thing in a real environment yet. I'll be doing that in the next few weeks, putting down some flooring. And I'll give you an update just to let you know how it's performing. Just so you know, the shipping weight was listed at 60 pounds. It does feel pretty sturdy, pretty heavy. I don't have anything to weigh that to be exact, but I guess it's probably a pretty accurate number. Also, the cost is right around $200. on Amazon. Nobody had it locally. That includes Lowe's or Home Depot, so I really didn't have much choice but to go to Amazon. And of course, starting with 2015, Amazon now charges sales tax in the state of Maryland, so we had $12 for the governor. All right, there you go. Get yourself a quality unit when you buy something in the future. Try this Makita Mac 700. See you guys next time.